top dressing wheat. Alright everybody, it has been a while since I've done a vlog here on the farm. You saw our last vlog of BrookeAnna and I on a speaking trip. And so I've actually been gone for the majority of the month of January. Today's January 29th, which is Kansas Day. So I've been gone for most of the month, but I get to experience these last couple days of January here in Kansas, doing some farming. And it's 65 degrees today, so feels like spring, even though it's still January. And we're supposed to get snow on Tuesday, so just because it's 65 degrees today doesn't mean that winter's over. But we're out here top dressing wheat, and normally Nathan would be the one doing this, but he's actually reffing a basketball game. So Dad and I, we got the sprayer going here, we got the nozzles changed, and we got it loaded, and everything's working the way it should. So these nozzles are putting on nitrogen fertilizer onto the wheat. Here on the screen you can kind of see where I've been so far, where I've applied. We're putting on 30.3 gallons to the acre. So our TopCon system is working really nice. You can see these terraces in front of me. We've got our NORAC boom auto height boom control system here that takes these booms right over the terraces, keeps them at the exact, we've got it set on 40 inches above the ground, which is a little higher than we do for like spraying. When we spray, we want to be a little closer to the ground because it's more of a mist. This nitrogen that we're putting on, we're actually not technically spraying it, it's more streaming it. So you can see actual streams of liquid coming down versus a spray. Sprays are designed to coat what you're spraying to make sure it kills it, whereas fertilizer we can just put down in streams. And this winter wheat has been dormant all winter. That's kind of where the name comes from. You plant it in the fall, it grows a little bit, and then it goes dormant. So it almost looks like there's nothing planted out here, but there's little green plants all over the place. And once spring hits, and in Kansas that'll be, you know, even in February, March here when it's these 60-degree days, when it gets to be 60, 65 degrees, this wheat will start to wake up from its dormancy and it'll start growing, and it'll be ready to harvest by June. So that's why it's called winter wheat, is because it goes over winter, and then it's ready to harvest earlier than any of our other crops. So we'll actually fertilize this wheat in a split application. We're going to do one application now and then wait a little bit and then do another application, and that kind of helps feed the plant as it grows. It feels good to be back out in the field. During the winter you don't do as much field work. Working a lot over there at the home farm, working with cattle, doing different things. But this is kind of the first field work of the year, and that's top dressing wheat. So it feels really good to be out here. A lot of times when we're top dressing wheat in January or February, it's cold, it's not a nice day. But today is a perfect day to get out here and put some fertilizer down. If you've been following us on Facebook, you would know that we are getting a Capstan nozzle control system put on this sprayer here in a couple weeks, and Capstan is actually giving away that same system in a giveaway that you can register for on our Facebook or on our Instagram. There's a link, and I'll put a link in the caption of this YouTube video as well. It's like a $30,000 system, and you can, one follower of ours will win that system if you register for the contest. So definitely check out the link. It's awesome opportunity. I think, I can't remember what day it ends, but I'll put that in the caption as well. And then also a second announcement I had was that BrookeAnna and I, as well as our parents, my mom and dad, are going to be at the National Farm Machinery Show coming up here in February. That is coming up on February 17th in Louisville, Kentucky at the National Farm Machinery Show. You'll be able to see us at the prayer meeting that morning. We're gonna be speaking and leading worship at the prayer meeting that morning, and then we're gonna be in the Fellowship of Christian Farmers booth during the day. I'm not sure what time yet. I'll get that figured out for you guys, but we will be there on the 17th. My wife BrookeAnna, our baby Brighton, my daughter, and then my parents, David and Marla. All right, I am out of spray. My tank is empty, or I'm out of fertilizer, I mean. So I'm gonna go over and fill up at the semi here. When you spray 30 gallons to the acre, you run out of your tank a lot faster, so you have to fill a lot more. So we got this whole semi trailer full of fertilizer. This will be my third fill of the day here, and it should be the last fill of this field. So should be able to get this field done tonight, even though the sun's setting on me. All right, we're gonna hook this hose up to the sprayer. I'm gonna have to put my sweatshirt back on. It was 65 degrees earlier, but it's dropping as the sun goes down. All right, we've got it running out the back tank, down and around, into here. There it goes. Not a bad night. So today is Kansas Day. Kansas was founded, I can't remember the year, in the mid-1800s, and today was the day it was founded. So we are thankful to live in Kansas and get to farm in Kansas, and we are proud Kansans. And so if you're also a Kansan, happy Kansas Day. And if you're not a Kansan, happy Kansas Day anyway. Kansas has been showing off today. It was a perfect day, 65 degrees in January, no wind, beautiful sunset. It's not like this every day. A lot of days are kind of tough, but today has been really nice. Here you can see the winter wheat. It is there. It's been really dry here in Kansas, so it's not as tall as it normally is when it's dormant, but it's definitely doing all right. But yeah, we don't have any soil moisture really. Hoping for a rain or a snow soon. But this fertilizer should help wake this wheat crop up, and hopefully it'll be a good one. So when it comes to this fertilizer, you can see we've got the different products in here. So we got our NPKS, and I think Nathan says one of these isn't right. We put something else in there, but that's essentially our blend of fertilizer that we're putting on the wheat. Putting 30.32 gallons per acre on. There's my neighbors, the Watkins, having a little bonfire. Almost done with the field here. Running out of daylight a little bit, but that's okay. So Greg has let me know that he filmed the vlog on Saturday while I was gone, top dressing wheat. He was top dressing wheat, I was gone. I was actually officiating a youth basketball tournament at our old high school. It was a fundraiser for the football team, so I couldn't say no. I did actually get paid for it, so it was fun to do, fun to see some coaches and people that I haven't seen for a while. And I didn't get yelled at as an official too much. Not any more than I deserved. Anyways, I don't know what all Greg said, but we decided to pull the trigger and top dress some wheat here in January, which is we're essentially a month and a half
reason we are is we've had some nice days. Today it's almost 70 degrees, which is almost too warm. And in 2 days there is a winter storm warning. A system's coming through, and there's a good chance of snow. If we do get some good snow, that will provide some moisture to pull this nitrogen right into the ground, where the wheat can start using both the water and the nitrogen. We are, like I said, we're very dry. We've had a few dustings of snow, but nothing that has added up to very much. Really, since this wheat was seeded, and the wheat looks all right. We got a good stand. We had good moisture to seed into. We just haven't got much since, and so that's a good thing for our feedlot and the cattle up on the hill here. They're probably hard to see with the sun. It makes for good cattle feeding weather. We haven't had too extreme cold, and we have had some temperature fluctuations that are hard on the cattle, but dry weather is definitely best for them. But at some point we're going to need some moisture for this wheat crop, and of course all of our ground that will be spring planted crops. It would be good to get some rain, some moisture down into the subsoil, because where we're at, we rely a lot on subsoil moisture because of our dry summers and how hot it gets in the middle of summer. We need that subsoil moisture. So we will see what this snow brings, and there's a lot of time for it to rain. But that's another reason we are top dressing now, is when it's been dry for this long, you have to prepare for when it's going to be wet, because the longer we have a dry spell, it means the longer the next wet spell is going to be, typically. So if it goes to raining in March, or we get a big February snow and everything gets wet, then all of a sudden you don't have very good conditions right now. And yeah, then you're putting nitrogen on wet ground, or you have to try and do it when it freezes, which that's not fun at all. And it's better to do it now when whatever moisture we get will soak right into the ground and get to the root zone. So that's why we are doing what we are doing. Another thing different we're doing is we're streaming. For now, we're streaming everything on and not putting any chemical with this fertilizer. It's just a blend of nitrogen and then some chloride and some sulfur. And we're streaming it on so that we have less tie-up in the residue that's on top of the ground. And then the weeds aren't as actively growing right now. We certainly could go after the weeds at this time, especially on warm days. The plan is to be more efficient with the nitrogen, and is just stream it on now, and then we'll come back and just put a low rate of the rest of the nitrogen on with the chemical at green up. So our normal time in March, and we won't be as pressured to get it on, right at green up, because we'll know we have some nitrogen there for the wheat to get going on. And then thirdly, or however many reasons I've given now, there's kind of a shortage of nitrogen, just with, I guess, COVID issues and good old supply chain issues. It's like everybody's using the same amount of nitrogen, but they're having a hard time getting it to where it needs to be, I think, or something like that. I don't know all the ins and outs, but there's prices high. There's not really much chance of it coming down by the time we have to have nitrogen on wheat. With the wheat price how it is, it still pays to fertilize it, and so we decided we want to make sure we get some on here so this can be a good healthy crop, because yield is gonna is going to be what pays the bills this year. And so we want to make sure the proper nutrition is there for the crop. And a lot of years, you know, there's about 1 week in March that everybody needs to top dress their wheat, and the suppliers have a hard time keeping up. So all these reasons are just why we are getting this in on when our supplier can get it to us very timely. He's not hauling to very many farmers. When we go over this again in March, it'll only be, you know, a couple loads because it'll be a lower rate. So anyways, I rambled on way longer than Greg probably wanted me to, but that's typical, and he'll probably cut a bunch of it out, and that's totally fine. Greg was on an 85-acre field while he was filming. This one that I got done today was 174 acres, so it's a pretty big guy. It's our one of our irrigated fields, and I did a 70-acre field before this, so I've gotten like 250 acres done so far. I'm hoping to get another 60 or something done before sundown. So I've done more in a day, but we're not having to push quite as hard doing it.
Spreading fertilizer 2 different ways. Nathan's spreading fertilizer on wheat, and I'm spreading manure on bean ground. This is for a neighbor, but clearly they're close neighbors. The fields are right next to each other. Alright, I'm taking this back to the yard, and I'll come back and get that later. Alright, done with that, and got the spreader parked here in the shed. Got to make sure it'll clear the back to close this door, as we have a big snowstorm coming. Oh wow, I got plenty far forward, so got to get everything tucked away in the shed, because even though it was 65 degrees yesterday, it's supposed to be 0 and blowing snow tomorrow, like 4 to 6 inches. Oh, look at that. It's nice. Okay, so here's a load of straw I just brought. Then this right here is the straw that Nathan loaded up and brought home this morning. Like I said, there's moisture coming, so I'll give you the list of stuff we've been trying to do before our dry winter might be over. Okay, so finished the spreading, got the spreader put away. 2 loads of hay. Dad's scraping pins. You can see he piles all the powder on the mound so that there'll be a dry place for them to lay, and it won't turn all the powder to slop if it snows and then all that melts. Then right here on the other side of this bin, we rolled corn this morning. Still using the 40-50 for that, even though it got kicked off the feed wagon duties. We just did that before it got too cold, and we were out on the bay on the back side of here. So got a full pile of corn now. And then 2 more things. Nathan has been spraying, fertilizing the wheat this morning. Well, yesterday and today, and I think Greg actually started with that Saturday. So 3 days worth of fertilizing wheat. I believe they got over half the acres done. And then over half the wheat acres done. And then Greg went and he picked up some new supplies for the cattle operation. So you'll get to see that in another later video. Okay, there's the new pile of corn. I pushed it back. I pushed back the first part, and then it re-peaked, so. And then we ground hay a few days ago, so we've got to use back a little bit. We've brought almost every single bale home from the fields now, and it's either in my parents' yard or this yard, I think, because we don't like those out there when it's muddy. And it's been so dry, we've been hauling it back. We don't want to have to go get it when it's muddy. So there's just a little bit of straw left in one field for us to get, but hopefully we can get that on a day it's frozen or not muddy, so not a big deal.